Hello, and welcome to the W.A.I.T channel. What Am I Thinking? A podcast where two sisters share uplifting conversations on fun and sometimes serious topics.
Join us each week by clicking the notification bell and subscribing to our channel. If you enjoy the show, use the share link. It's one of the best ways to expand the conversation.
Welcome back to the W.A.I.T channel, What Am I Thinking? Today we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics. What am I reading? What am I watching? Well, I'm not reading anything, but I'm definitely watching quite a few things this summer. I'm just going to go on and start with one of my favorite HBO series that I have been watching. Is season 2 of Gentleman Jack.
Have not watched that. Okay,
yes.
Tell me about it.
All right, so Gentleman Jack is actually based on a real character, a woman by the name of Ann Lister. She lived in the, I'm going to say, the late 1700s, early 1800s. And she actually lived her life as a lesbian.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And she kept these diaries about her life. And she wrote in code. And the diaries had been locked away for many, many years. And one of her ancestors, somewhere in the 1900s, found the diaries. And they were able to break the code. And they wrote a book.
Oh, wow.
So it's based on that. And this year in season 2, she has found someone that's her love interest. Her name is Anne also. She's a very wealthy heiress. And we learn about how the wealthy heiress, her sister and her, they both have property that they have to now divide. And she's wanting to will her part to Anne, and Anne wanting to do the same because her uncle left the family fortune to her because they said that her father did not have a head for business. So you just follow all these ins and outs, and Anne, she dressed very masculine. She wears black all the time. And that had like this hidden meaning for her. And she basically said that she was living a life of mourning because she couldn't marry and be herself. So it's just so interesting because she was interested in things that women during that time were not interested in, or they couldn't go to college. Well, she went abroad and she learned about science and astronomy and geometry, and she really was just she was born before her time.
Awesome. And
in the finale episode, she goes to this church where there's this monument to this child that had died. And she looks at that child and she says, that child that died, she's wondering if that was her, and that she was reincarnated in the body that she was in now. And that maybe a mistake had been made. And you know what she's meaning is she wasn't supposed to be a girl. And she's crying and she's not understanding why she's crying. But it's just such a well-written period piece. I didn't think I would enjoy it last year when it first came on, but it is just so well written.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, Gentleman Jack.
Okay. All right. So the thing that I am watching is on the Learning Channel, and it's called Little People, Big World. I think they're added like Back to the Farm. I think it's in the title now. And it follows the Roloff family. And the big deal this season is the son who is married, and he's a twin, and he's little, and his brother is average size, and his name is Zach, and he's married to Tori, and they have 2 children that are also little people. Um, the parents of the family have divorced. The mom has remarried, and the dad is in a new relationship with a lady who was a longtime employee for the farm. So in the past season, Zach and Tori were really close to the dad and his new love interest, and the grandkids call her Cha Cha, and her name is Karen, and the dad bought the mom out of the farm property. So the mom no longer lives on the farm. She bought her own house, and her husband are residing there. And something I didn't know is that, so the other kids really no longer participate in the show. Zach and Tori are the only ones really. There is his twin brother who used to be very active on the show. The youngest son, once he graduated, we really didn't see him. And really before he graduated, we hardly didn't see him. The daughter, once she went off to college, we did not see her that much. I think she may have come back for a wedding or something like that. But when the oldest son and his wife were no longer in the show, I just kind of was like, did they move away? Don't know what happened. But in this season, Zach, who has been involved in the farm stuff with his dad, maybe not as much as the dad wanted, but once the mom left, they showed an interest in possibly wanting to buy that part of the farm from the dad. I didn't know that the other twin had also at one point made an offer to the dad, and the dad, they could not come to terms. So even as close as they were last season, the season starts off with them both kind of talking about this meeting they had and it going left. And Zach came in with the offer. The dad felt the offer was way too low. He said he had done what the market was, then gave what he thought was a fair family member discount on it, and had some other terms that he felt like as far as upkeep and things that he wanted Zach to do. And I think Zach's mindset was, if I buy it, I'm going to manage it the way I want to manage it. But the dad, Matt, wanted some guarantees because this is his life's work. And the other part about it is, which I don't know if Zach is taking this into consideration, he has 3 other siblings. How can he give him this great deal? Because that would be their inheritance as well. Mm-hmm. So bottom line, Zach and Tori were quite hurt that everything fell apart. So they go and buy a house that has a little land around it 2 hours away, in a whole nother state. And they have kind of almost, I don't want to say they've cut the dad and Karen out, but last year where most of their stuff was with Matt and his interests, this year it's with the mom and her guy. Like Zach had this weightlifting thing that he did. And because of COVID, you could only invite so many people. The mom couldn't come, but her husband came. Tori and the kids came. But I never heard him even say he invited his dad. I'm like, so the part that's sad to me is that, the dad is trying to mend the relationship. He can only do so much, especially because they now live 2 hours away. The grandkids really love Cha-Cha. They love his girlfriend, and they love him too, but she's more engaged with them and does stuff with them. And I have this feeling that because we don't have our parents forever, which we know, he's going to look back on this and maybe wished he wasn't towing such a hard line. Yes, maybe his dad I think there could have been better compromise. And this is something the dad said. The dad said, he's a businessman first and foremost. He said the way I thought things worked, he would come in and say what he wanted. I would come in and say what I'd be willing, and then we would go back and forth. He said, but there was no back and forth. Once I wouldn't do exactly what he wanted, the whole thing shut down, and that was it. And he said, I wasn't prepared for it to go that way. He said, I thought there could be some back and forth, but there was no budging him on anything. And he was like, that's just not my business mindset of how it would work. So regrets probably on both sides, but I kind of feel like Zach and Tori are taking it too far. In, like, for Christmas, they're saying, and the mom is kind of getting left out too, they're going to do their own thing just as their little unit. And it's like, that's what about
purposely hurtful?
Yeah. I mean, I understand you want to make your new traditions, but they would get together before Christmas so you could have your Christmas Day traditions. And so I don't know, it's just as I watch him and hear their conversation, and Tori is pregnant again. She had a miscarriage last season, and so she's pregnant again this season. And it's always kind of exciting as they find out, are they going to have an average height child, or are they going to have another little child? And so it's a very interesting story. The divorced couples, her husband really likes her ex-husband, Matt. They get along very well. And she is a little perturbed by it because as much as she doesn't want to like Karen is very likable. And, you know, for their wedding, they had their wedding on the farm. Matt set everything up. They didn't attend the wedding, Matt and Karen, they didn't, but they gave them as gift, and they have a home in Arizona. So they gave them airline tickets for them to come and visit in Arizona. And, you know, and they've done other things, and the husband is, the wife's husband is always initiating it, and she is a little reticent about it. She's just like, and she's like, look, we can hang out with them, but we're not going to be best friends. So it's really cute because they get along well, the two couples. And so it's just a really interesting show to watch the family dynamics, to watch their challenges as little people as they overcome them, to watch Tori as she's the only average sized person in her family of her husband and her kids. And I imagine there's a part of her that wants to have a kid that is average like her. Right. You know, as I said, I carried 2 children. All I did was carry them because they both look just like their dad. So I can imagine what that would feel like for her to, you know, want a kid that has some more resemblance of her other than just features. So so that's what I'm watching. Little People, Big World, Back to the Farm. If you haven't watched it, it might be something you may want to check out, as I will also check out Gentleman Jack. So if you have something interesting that you're watching, reading, or doing, put it in our comments section, and make sure that you tune into the W.A.I.T channel next week so we can share what we are thinking. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.